Hey everyone, welcome to our podcast. I'm Hansel. I'm here with Wayne Tang. We wrote a book, which, like this podcast, is also called The Coder Bros Go to White Castle. It's a book about our story, how we grew up Asian, how we became best friends, and how we found our White Castle. Only our metaphorical destination was not a fast food joint, but an awesome little business called the Coder School that we now run together. So we started this podcast to explore the stories of other Asian Americans just like us and how they found their own White Castle. Wayne, who do we got chatting with us today?
Yeah, we got chatting with us today. She has over 20 years of experience in design, technology, and recently artificial intelligence at places like Salesforce, IDEO, and Wayfound, just to name a few. She's held management and executive positions, even a founder throughout her career, and an author as well, if I'm correct. So let's welcome Tiffany Chin to the podcast.
Magical sound,
Hi.
Wayne.
Yes.
Magical. That doesn't
Welcome,
make you think.
Tiffany.
Yeah.
Thanks for spending your time with us today. We'd love to hear more about you. So why don't you go ahead and jump in and tell us a bit more about what you are up to these days?
Sure. So right now I work for a company called Wayfound. It's an AI agent management platform, which is a mouthful, but it takes any AI agent that you can create, and it could be third party, it could be a Salesforce agent, it could be ServiceNow agent, and it'll tell you how it's performing. It's for business users. You can understand how, just like a human that gets a performance review every 6 months or so, you can know how your agents are doing. It gives you suggestions on how to improve them. And you can set alerts for when things go haywire. So you can immediately get that feedback for anything that's going wrong.
Whoa.
So that's
Yeah, I mean,
something, yeah.
with artificial intelligence just growing like crazy, I mean, that is the right area to be in. What was the phrase though? The very first phrase that you said was a mouthful? Like
You
It's
have to
an
say it
artificial
again.
it's
It's a
an
tongue twister.
yeah,
AI agent management platform.
AI
But
manage.
so
Okay.
now, Tiffany, your background is more in design, right? Are you responsible sort of for the UX, the UI over there, or are you the
So
technical?
right
You're in there
now,
coding.
because it is such a big, I mean, because it is a startup, we're 7 humans, my role
Hmm.
is quite large. So everything from the UI, UX, user research, the brand, the website, I am doing that, as well as finding leads, finding finding out different ways that people can use our product, talking to lots of customers, working with engineers. We have 3 awesome AI engineers that help us build whatever it needs to be. Um, and it's very fast moving. It's the smallest company
Yeah.
I've ever worked for. Um,
I was
but
going to
it's
say,
like a
what's it
rocket
like
ship.
doing a small company like that? I've never been at a startup with only 7, so it sounds like you got, well, except for right now, I guess.
Yeah, exactly.
But so, I mean, so you have to wear many, many hats. I definitely know what that's like. So is that fun for you? Is that something you wanted to do?
It is. So that was something that I craved. Moving back into my history, like I have done leadership roles in larger corporations. I worked for Pendo, leading their global design team. So this was kind of a hankering for being on the cutting edge. That's something that I've repeated through my entire life of exploring gadgets, different technologies, kind of tinkering with things. So right now with AI, this whole idea of vibe coding is super relevant.
Mhm.
Trying to get things
Right.
to do what you want it to do. It's kind of like having a little intern that kind of has a huge, broad knowledge, and you ask
Yeah.
it
Hmm.
to do something, and then you ask it to do it again. It's like having a child, basically,
It's like
with
having
Yeah,
a
that's
little bit, a
AI.
little bit.
totally.
So tell
That
people what
is.
vibe coding is, because that is actually a
Yeah.
little bit of the antithesis of what Wayne and I do. It's kind of
Oh,
our
yeah.
enemy. But
A
Oh,
little
but tell
is
bit.
people what
it?
vibe coding
Well,
is.
if you can learn to work with it, I think that's where you can
Yeah.
extend your capabilities. So vibe coding is using natural language to create the code to build out an app. So for example, I used Bolt the other day. It's like bolt.new in order to create a personal like assistant for myself, just with natural language, what I wanted I told it what I wanted it to do. I actually used ChatGPT to come up with the initial prompt to put into um, the bolt.
Cool.
Right.
And then it steps you through kind of like an engineering process, right? It breaks it down into small chunks. It does one thing and then asks if it's okay, and then you can make changes, and then you continue on, and it'll build it out with natural language, like you're talking to an engineer. It's like
Hmm.
your engineering buddy assistant. I think it still requires you to understand how code works a little bit,
Hmm.
at least
Does it
now,
actually spit
this
out code and
month.
you have to look at it this month? Yeah. Does
This
it spit out
month?
code and you have
This
to
month.
do you have to look at it, or do you just talk to it and it just starts doing things and you're like, oh, don't do it that way, do it this way?
You could do it both ways. So it
Both ways.
depends on what you're working with, right? So with Bolt, Bolt was the one that was closest to not having to look at the code for me.
Hmm.
I've also tried like Cursor.
Hmm.
Um, there's I know there's a lot of talk. OpenAI just bought Windsurf, I think is, I haven't tried that one,
Hmm.
but now that they've bought it for $3 billion, I feel like I should
Yeah.
take a look and
Yeah,
see
pretty big numbers.
see
Perhaps.
how
Perhaps.
that works.
Do you feel like using all this AI, do you feel like you should learn the code that it generates as well, or do you feel like it's just not necessary?
It's still necessary, like I said, this month, this week.
Yeah.
It seems
Yeah.
very necessary to still understand it. I think um, it's still, especially with things like GitHub Copilot, I think you still need to know code. But there is a point in the future where I can see
Hmm.
using natural language to make applications without anything, just like
Yeah.
you would be able to design something without it. However, someone that is an expert in it will be able to get more
More out of it.
today out of
Yeah.
it than anyone that
Yeah.
doesn't.
Yeah, that's a big what is it? A conflict? I don't know what the number or what the word is out there, but there's sort of one camp that's like, in the future you don't need to code and you just type it in natural language, boom, you're done. There's the other camp that's like, well, you kind of always will need to code no matter what that thing does. So it's a big sort of debate out there. Debate, I think that's the word I was
Yeah,
using
and
for.
I think that, I mean, the knowing to code also, though, I think I tie that to knowing the logic,
Hmm.
like there's always going to need to have some human, giving the commands even, and that takes, still the thought and the design and the logic
Yeah.
behind
So
Hmm.
it.
that
So,
that's
The
kind of like the
critical
whole.
thinking,
The
right? I
critical
yeah,
think
thinking,
that's, yeah.
yeah, yeah,
right.
and that's a lot of what we teach at the Coder School, the company that Wayne and I run. So, but so rather than going to a big debate about that, I'm curious to hear on the graphic side.
Yeah.
What do you think? I mean, so my as a coder, I have sort of my own opinions about whether it'll take over coding. But graphic wise, when I need like a photo or something to go with this or that. I just generate it now. Do you think at some point it's going to take over like writing a story? ChatGPT can do that really well. Do you think it'll take over the sort of the creative side since that's your
Well,
specialty, right?
I
Creativity?
think, yeah, I mean, it's already disrupting the industry, as you say, like with the creative writing, graphic design. I do think that it sets the bar higher, right? So,
Mm,
so even though you can create an image, there is a certain uh, in design they talk about taste, right? A lot of design comes down to taste and having the expertise to say like, is this a good layout? Is this
mm,
the most interesting layout it could be? Is this
Hmm.
the most functional layout it could be? Those are different questions. I
yeah.
think that it sets the bar at a higher level now. Now it just becomes more of a high fidelity thing that everybody has more access to. So I equate this back to kind of how I was brought up. My both of my parents are graphic designers. I saw them go from the film and like drawing things by hand and lettre sets, which is like letters that you rub down on paper in order to create a
Oh,
mock-up of a
wow.
package, right? All the way through
That's great.
to creating everything on computer, right? So I
So was
watched
that would have been
them.
in the 70s or something, or 60s, 70s, 80s? I
Yeah,
don't know.
well,
A long
so the
time ago.
digital transformation didn't take place. I mean, because I can remember it, right? So it didn't take place really until mid 80s, like where
Mm.
Okay.
there was SE30. I remember that was the first Mac that my parents
Yeah,
had. It's a
I had
little
the
like a box
SE30.
thing. Yeah, I
Yeah,
used to play Crystal Quest on it.
like the Macintosh. Yeah.
Yeah, I love those
Well,
sounds. If someone can find those those sounds, it's very nostalgic.
so it's already crazy though that we kind of glossed over you glossed over it a bit that you both your parents are graphic designers. Now, Tiffany Chin, your last name is Chin, so you're obviously Chin for Chinese, I guess.
Yeah,
Yes.
But
short for
you're
Chinese.
so that two Asian parents that are both graphic designers is so different. That's,
It's
we're
very
all of
unique.
ours are like professors and engineers. How did that come about?
So they met in college. We, I have a family, my brother, I have one brother, all four of us went to the same college, which
Hmm.
I have a little flag in the back. It's California College of the Arts and Crafts. It is
Wow.
now called California College of the Arts. My brother's the only one that went to that school. All of us are old enough to have had the craft part.
The craft.
Wow, so back then they must have been the only Asians in that school.
Yeah.
That's not true. So you would think
Really?
that, right?
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I
Um,
would. Yeah.
They are, well, also they were both born here. All of their brothers and sisters, they both come from a family of five. They're
Hmm.
both the second born in their family of five. Um, they met at CCAC and then later again at Art Center. So they went to two colleges. That's kind of Asian.
So now they were both
Yeah.
they were both second wait, first okay, so they were both
Depends
second
on who you
generation.
ask.
Right.
So they were because their parents were already
May
immigrated here. So
Yes.
your
yeah.
Yeah.
grandparents had already immigrated here.
hmm
So maybe the grandparents were not cracking the whip quite like the normal Asian Americans.
Oh, I
Helicopter
do think
grandparents.
it's quite rare for Asian parents of that generation to let their children go into anything in the art field, right? They are
Yeah.
very
Right.
unique. Um,
Absolutely. It's got
my
to be an
dad,
engineering doctor.
well, I feel like they both would tell you that it was the only thing that they were good at, that there was no other things that they would want to do. My dad had a full scholarship to Colorado State for
Hmm.
gymnastics. And
Oh
Whoa.
wow.
so he didn't see
That's
much of a future in gymnastics, but
That's
yeah.
art
pretty different too.
was
Like a full
something.
like
That's
so he was
totally
like a
different.
D1 gymnast guy. I mean, this was again what like the 70s, I guess. And he's like,
Yeah, like 68, I think, is when
oh
he
my
68.
graduated.
goodness.
Yeah.
Wow,
D1
and he's an
gymnast.
Asian dude
Yeah.
getting a scholarship for gymnastics. That's pretty different.
Yeah.
Was
So
it
you think about like they're definitely baby boomers. I
Right.
always think about like what was the history because my grandfather, who was a World War II veteran, coming back with the GA Bill, going and getting his first house, he faced a huge amount of racism. Like people did
Mm.
not want to sell to Asians at that point. He did get something, and it was really nice for. Uh, like he came, they didn't want to sell to him, so for a long time they had to live in the projects, right? Until that he could find a place that he could actually buy. No one would sell
Wow.
him a
I
house.
mean, what
Wow.
kind
So
of
wait,
would they just make up reasons or would they just be outright and say because you're
Outright,
Chinese?
yeah, exactly.
Oh, they
They would
wouldn't
just
even
say
have
wow.
to,
that.
like nowadays, at
Yeah.
least you'd have to mask it and say,
Yeah, there was
well,
no masking.
it was just like, hey, we don't want
So
you to
your
tie it.
grandpa, so would that have been around like right after World War II?
Right
So
after
that's
World War II. So I could have been half French, right? He met someone during World War II, but then instead, like a good Chinese boy, he
Good
went back to
Chinese boy.
China and got a
wow.
wife, my grandmother, and came back to the US at that point, Nebraska, and then moving into
But he
Denver.
was dating like a French woman for a while.
Yes.
Oh,
Wow.
wild.
Yeah.
Well, because I just looked this up on the internet just now. The Exclusion Act, the Chinese Exclusion
Right.
Act, actually didn't even end until 43, which I
Right.
guess your grandpa came over a little bit after World War
No,
Three,
he came
two,
over before. So it's very
before.
interesting. It's difficult to think about how much my grandparents faced in coming
Right.
over during
Yeah.
the Exclusion Act. And that's why it's so rare that you see someone from my generation, right? That my parents were born here is because they were excluded from the United States.
Yeah.
So my great grandparents were here off and on. Like my great grandfather on my mom's side had like some business in California. Um,
Oh,
and my
really?
grandfather was like one of the paper sons that came over as a son of a different family, right? So he was
Wait.
kind of like an
Wow.
indentured servant when he came over
Ooh,
to the United States.
wow. I guess back
Yeah.
in the day, like, was he like literally building the railroads kind of thing?
Well, it's not that far back. It's like
Okay, right,
1920.
right, right.
But he went his parents wanted him to come. He came by himself when he was 14,
Man.
because he had to make money
Wow.
for his family, right? And so he's working off this debt, um, basically living in the attic of a restaurant and working. The one good thing is that the United States makes you have an education. So he had to go to American school and he had to learn English. And
That's
he
lucky.
says that the majority of his English was from the military. So
Hmm.
he knew like every swear word
Yeah, of
imaginable.
course.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
Wow.
But yeah, I was only born with two remaining grandparents. One was my mom's mom, and then one was my dad's dad. So I had a
Hmm.
really close relationship with both of them. I will
Okay.
definitely tell you about my grandmother. She's pretty awesome too. But my grandfather, he was kind of like my best friend. Like when we were adults,
Wow.
I lived with him
Oh, cool.
when he was getting older in Southern California, and he would tell me all of the different stories that he had. He had such rose-colored glasses thinking about World War II, about
Hmm.
how they used to use grenades to go fishing. He said it's the best way. Like they
That's the
just all
best way.
pop up.
Boom.
I think I've heard that. I've seen that in a movie. I just thought it
Yeah.
was more like for a movie, I think.
Yeah,
Like
no, and he'd use his hat to like cook them up
they would
over a
really
fire
do
because it's
that.
metal. Yeah, they really did that.
Boom,
And
and
That's
then
hilarious.
a lot
he
of
said
dead
he would
fish.
like trade his K rations for like fresh eggs, and it's not like the people had a choice because they already won the war at that point. So it's interesting
Crazy.
stories.
So how does this affect sort of how you grew up? I mean, do you feel like you're starting from your grandparents even, were they sort of trying to become more Americanized because they knew that, their other generations were gonna, be in America?
I wouldn't say he was trying to be more Americanized. From what I hear, my grandmother that passed away before I was born, she didn't speak very much English at all.
Okay.
But when my aunt, the firstborn on my dad's side, was born, she came back home and the teachers told him, you gotta speak English at home, no more Chinese. So basically, from that point on, there was no more Chinese spoken in the house, which much must be difficult if my grandmother didn't speak any English. So
Yeah.
Yeah,
Then what's the
yeah,
choice?
wow.
so
So
you
and
think
then and
about the
then
culture loss just from language alone,
yeah.
and that ripples down to this generation,
Well,
right?
I was going to say, so how far removed do you feel like you and or your parents are?
Um, well, my mom's family, they were all forced to go to Chinese school. They grew up in San Francisco. So, I mean, they don't actually speak Chinese to each
Hmm.
other or really to anyone. Maybe they can understand it, but it
Okay.
is a little bit of a loss, right? My
Yeah.
son wants to learn Chinese, so he tries with Duolingo, but it's only
Oh, so he actually
Mandarin.
wants to learn Chinese. That's
He
crazy.
does want, I
That's
would love
10-year-old?
to as well, but he did it because he wants to speak to his grandparents on my husband's
Oh,
side, who are
wow.
Cantonese. They
That
speak
is
English,
amazing.
but he wanted to learn it, but then he realized that it's Mandarin and not Cantonese, so
Yeah.
it's not quite the same.
Yeah, yeah. I've actually tried Duolingo. I think that thing actually kind of sucks in terms of l real learning. It's great gamification though for
Mhm.
kids like that just needs like the repeat, do it on repeat. It's great. But
For
I think the
sure.
coolest thing is that somebody so young, I guess your 10-year-old would want to do that. I hated Chinese when I was young. Like my mom wanted me
Yeah,
to do it. I was
same
like, I'm not
here.
doing it.
I
Yeah.
It
fought
wasn't
so
until I was like
hard.
in my 40s that I
Yeah.
really figured out, hey, I really want to do it. So
So are
that's
you
great.
trying to learn now?
Yeah, I actually use an app called Do Chinese, and it's the same thing, and I'm reading it like every day. So
So
it took me a long time.
one of the things that I feel AI will help with a lot is this language learning process,
Yes,
right? Who wants to
100%,
talk to an actual person in a language that
100%.
you're not
Yeah,
comfortable with?
Yeah, yeah, because you don't
So,
want to be embarrassed, right? But whereas
yeah.
AI kind of covers that for you.
that's
So
true.
I'd
What
say
somebody told
ChatGPT
me.
does it, right?
That's
You can
right.
just
Somebody
tell
told me
it
about
to
that.
talk to you in
Yeah.
this
Yeah,
other
I think I
language.
told you, Wayne, but I think Tiffany,
Okay.
I tried that with ChatGPT, but I think it's like it's free for like a minute.
Oh,
Oh,
okay.
And then it goes back to like kind of really slow, choppy Chinese or something like that, and then I have to
oh,
wait or pay. But
Well,
yeah.
being Asian,
I
I'm not going to pay.
yeah, and at my level, I did try it after you told me, and I kind of had some fun with it. But I guess at my level, I never even
You're
got to
like, what did it
the
say?
paywall. I didn't even get
Yeah.
past the minute, but I felt kind of cool because I did like at least one sentence, and I asked it, and then it responded, and I think I may have gotten like two sentences back, but yeah,
That's hilarious.
it actually is kind of cool though.
Yeah.
As that
So
improves and gets better.
Hmm.
yeah. So Tiffany, I guess in terms of your family, so your husband is Cantonese, I guess from Hong Kong area, maybe Guangzhou, something like that.
My mother-in-law is from Hong Kong. My
Okay.
father-in-law is from someplace rural in China, and then he was working for Pan Am and then
Okay.
came over and just stayed.
Okay. Okay.
And
So
So
just
so
say,
I
and it
don't know
sounds like
how
so.
these things works.
yeah,
Hopefully
how does
there's no
that work?
ICE people listening
Yeah,
to this call.
exactly.
I
Well,
think
he
you should
came
write it
and
all down.
he went to San Jose State. So like I think it was
Okay.
much easier to get student visas when
Hmm.
when my husband's parents were here. There wasn't the Exclusion Act anymore. And my mother-in-law went she was in Berkeley and everything. So uh, they had a
Okay.
restaurant. Yeah.
So does your husband speak Chinese?
He speaks more than I do, but
Okay.
that's not saying much. I think he understands a great deal more than I do.
Hmm.
I didn't know that there were so many different dialects growing up. As a kid, I thought that Cantonese was the same as like Toisan, which is
Hmm.
definitely not. So my dad's side spoke Toisan and my mom's side spoke Cantonese. Both, like I said, not well. So I would learn something from one side and I try to speak to the other side, and they didn't
Hmm.
understand me. So thus, it made me very insecure when I speak any kind of Chinese.
Yeah, I hear you. I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, growing up, it's so hard to actually speak Chinese because you're always kind of embarrassed
Yeah.
about, I told my son that like the biggest sort of secret to learning a new language is just don't be embarrassed. Just
Hmm.
ramble it out. Even if you're wrong, if you say wrong accent or whatever, it doesn't matter. The more you do it, eventually you'll get it. But how are you sort of raising your kids? Is there what in terms of the Asian side? Do you like try to get them to do the Chinese, more than Duolingo, Chinese school and stuff like that? Do you feel like that's missing?
I think it's a little bit missing. I think it is part of the culture that I feel is lacking. I think some of my cousins, they hired like a Cantonese babysitter or nanny for their
Mm,
kids.
that's
So when
it's
they're
a good
really
trick.
little, they only spoke Cantonese, right? And they
Mm.
Yep.
still retain it, even though
Hmm.
they don't really think about it as much, but because they had that initial action. And it was the same for my brother. He actually speaks quite a bit more Cantonese. His
Hmm.
babysitter when we were growing up was Cantonese. And
Oh,
so his tonality, well, he has tonality. I sound very
Yeah.
that's hard in
American
Cantonese.
when
Yeah.
I speak
Yeah.
Yeah.
any
Same here.
any
Same
other
here.
language. Hmm.
Yeah. Do you guys take them back? Do you guys do you celebrate Chinese New Year and
We
like
do. So a
how?
lot of the
Yeah. Okay.
celebrations we'll do. I don't know, we did tea ceremonies. My grandmother made
Oh,
sure all
wow.
of us knew how to play mahjong, so I know how to do
Oh,
that.
That's
cool.
pretty good.
Nice.
Yeah.
You
So
do
you
the
still got a lot of Asian in you. So okay. So on a scale of 1 to 10, if like 10 is like just 100% American, and then I guess one is Asian, but it's not. But
According to
what part of
your
the scale?
quiz, I'm very low on the
You're
Asian scale, but
yeah.
I
okay.
knew
Oh,
what the
okay.
right answer was. I
Right,
just
right.
um I just
So it
know
just
that
wasn't
that
you.
is not that is not
Yeah,
me. And I
right.
will say my parents had different tiger instincts. Even though they're
Mm,
designers, they
Yeah.
were doing the same things to my creative endeavors. So I don't know if you ever drew something for your parents and they hang it on the refrigerator or whatnot.
yeah.
I would draw something and my dad would take tracing paper, put it over and show how it was incorrect. Like
Oh my
the eyes were
God.
not the
That
right
is
way
Tiger.
What?
and like
Oh,
correct
That's
some
hilarious.
of
Tiger.
the ratio
Wow.
of the
The
drawing. I mean, when
ratios.
I was
Yeah.
8 years old, you know?
Oh my gosh.
It's the
That's
golden
awesome.
ratio.
That's
So I do
awesome.
try to compensate and I'll put up my kids' work on the wall. And even now
Yeah,
to
you
this
critique
day,
it?
my parents do not put up my work on their walls. It's
Oh,
a touchy
really?
subject.
That's
They
funny.
have a
So they're
lot of my
tiger
brother's
parents.
work. Yeah, a little bit tiger parenty,
That's hilarious.
So
but
Wow.
in
on
a
the
Well,
different way.
low score, like what about do people wear shoes in your house?
We do not. I mean, my husband is like
okay then.
See,
a
okay. So
generation
at least
removed.
that
My
there. I just wanted
parents
to
do
check
though.
that. That's like
Okay,
a
I will tell you that was a huge like shock to my husband is my parents will wear shoes in their house. And
Whoa,
so
your
growing
parents?
whoa.
up, we did. We wore shoes,
Whoa.
but nobody wears shoes in my house
I
today.
grew up with that though too. In Alabama,
Yeah.
we would just wear
Yeah.
shoes because everybody else in Alabama does, and I thought
Yeah.
it was weird when I came to California and people were like, but
Yeah.
now I can't even picture
It
myself
would be
wearing shoes.
insane.
But growing up,
Wow.
no, we would be walking into the bedroom wearing full, Nikes, tennis shoes, whatever.
Yeah.
That's
And
wacky. Wow. So Tiffany, how did you get into
hilarious.
the creative side? When did you realize that was what you wanted to do?
Well, I thought my parents were the coolest people in the world.
Mm.
They did toy packages for Mattel's, and then later when
Ooh,
we moved up to the Bay Area for Galoob, I don't know if you're familiar with Micro Machines. That was probably their most famous toy, but they had a bunch of different others. So seeing that they got to bring home a bunch of toys and they got to make packages, it just seemed like that seems like a cool thing to
that's a
do.
great
Or and
job.
they do
Yeah.
like catalogs for the toys. So sometimes my brother and I were used as models in the catalogs.
Oh,
But
cool.
it's, yeah, and like on the
That's
back of the
awesome.
packages. I mean, that's another touchy subject, right? Like we're only the back of the package because we're Asian, right? You can't be on the
Right,
front of the
right.
package.
That's
And
right.
my
You can't
dad's
be
the
the
art
front.
director.
It's got to
So
be like the
Oh,
think,
wow.
blonde and blue-eyed, right? In the
yeah,
front.
yeah,
Makes
thinking
But you're
about
sense.
actually
what
on a
that
package, though. Do you
does.
have some of those packages still?
I have some of the images. I didn't want to keep
Okay.
all of the packages, but it's
Oh,
yeah, I had
that's
some of
cool.
the catalogs.
Could probably, if you had some of the toys, they're probably like collector's items,
Oh
I
Yeah.
yeah,
think.
we
Sell
do
them on
If
have
eBay.
quite a bit of toys.
yeah, if they're not opened and all, I know there's kind of weird valuations, but
Yeah, they
non-touched.
did a bunch of the first generation of Star Trek: The Next Generation toys, so I have a whole
Ooh,
box of
that would
unopened
be cool to
I'm a
see
big fan
things.
that.
of
Yeah.
TNG. That's
Yeah, me
awesome.
too.
Yeah.
That's really
Well, do
cool.
you think we're moving towards that direction? I often think that AI is going to
Oh, you mean
borg us.
Borgas.
Borgus, Borgus or Borgus? Yeah. So you mean like TNG is like an actual prediction of the future?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. No, the Borg
They,
specifically,
The Borgs.
because if you think about it, it's like the whole idea of the Borg is it's completely curious. Everything goes into the one hive mind, and
yeah.
it just sucks in all humanity. And
That's hilarious. So
Right.
you think that's where AI is going? So did Elon Musk or one of those guys said
That's
that,
more
right?
like,
It's
yeah,
like
on
the
dark days, yes.
Terminator, right?
not Dark Days. Yeah,
Yeah,
and they're gonna
that's kind of
come in a big cube and
yeah.
suck up the whole
And
Earth.
then they're gonna create the Skynet and Terminator is
Oh
coming.
yeah.
But we're gonna
Wow.
send
So
Hansel back then to kill that,
Oh
the
yeah,
okay.
Borg.
yeah, I'm gonna go kill some people back in the 50s.
Yeah.
Wow. So you just kind of knew because you thought your parents were super cool. So you're just like, hey, I'm just gonna go and be a graphic designer myself, and I'm gonna go sign up for the same school and all that kind of stuff.
I
You,
really thought that was the case. I definitely, as I grew up, I did work with them in high school, but as I got into college, I definitely found my own voice of things that were more interesting to me. I think it was also, you know, the early days of the internet and being able to make something come to life. I think
Hmm.
that's
mm,
why I went into tech, is being able to make things and like that interaction. Back
yeah.
in I had a lot of fun with Flash when that was a thing,
Oh
Flash,
yeah,
okay.
making
that's
like
right.
really crazy
Huge all over the
experiences.
internet, right?
Yeah,
Until it
yeah,
wasn't.
Yeah,
yeah.
that's
I
cool.
mean,
So,
it
okay,
kind of
so
was sad. It turned into like ads mostly. But
Yeah.
early days Flash, it was you could make whole animation game things all like as a designer, I could do that with very little code. I learned how to
yeah,
code a little bit, like action scripting, all the
Ew.
way to 2 or 3. But then I was like, oh, well, I've
yeah.
reached my limit.
Well, well,
Yeah.
now you can do with ChatGPT and all this AI stuff.
Yeah.
That's
Vibe
kind of
coding.
Okay.
what's exciting about the vibe coding a little
Yeah.
bit.
So
Absolutely.
okay, so I got to ask you this about so my son is potentially going to go into architecture. But one of the things he said was like, "But Dad, I don't know if I'm going to make enough money as an architect when I come out of school." So then I was like, "You should be an engineer then." Total tiger dad. So as a graphic designer, I'm guessing when you first come out of school, you got to sort of like put in your whatever your put in your hours before you make the big money, I'm assuming, right? Is that do you think that there's this big passion that kind of overrides that money thing? Like, well, first of all, do graphic artists come out with less money, yeah, out of school? And second of all, do you sort of have to have a certain mentality to be like, okay, I'm going to do it because I'm so passionate about it?
So graphic design and architecture are quite different when you come out of school. I mean, I know a ton of architects that have gone into tech after graduating as architects.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Don't tell my son
So,
that.
okay. Um, Tech pays very well.
Oh,
Right.
I
tech
will give
as
you
the
that.
industry. Okay.
Yeah, as an
Yes, I
industry.
Now,
see.
right at
It
this
has the
moment,
money. Yeah.
Yeah.
at this moment, everything is right at this moment. I can't say what the
Right.
future is. I'm
That's
just
right.
telling you
I
about my own
mean,
experience.
yeah. I mean, the Borgs
When
will be here sooner or later, so you never
Yeah,
know.
that'll change everything.
Yeah, that'll change
everything will
everything.
change.
Yeah.
I will say from my particular experience and where we were in the world when I graduated as graphic design, like I said, I worked with my parents. I had a little bit of experience. It wasn't incredibly difficult to land a graphic design job at that point. One, I
Hmm.
work really hard. I am still super Asian about certain things. Like I am willing to put in that hard effort to make something and I care about the beauty of things. So
Nice.
that's when after college is when I moved down to live with my grandfather in Southern California. Um, I worked out of Santa Monica. That was a horrible commute, but
Mm.
doing print and like that was the burgeon of e-commerce on the web. Like before that, everyone's like, "You're going to put a credit card on the web? No one's going to do that.
Right.
Who's going to do
Nobody's
Yeah.
gonna
that?
do that.
Who's
Yeah,
going
it's
to do
crazy.
that?"
Yeah.
Yeah,
Nobody. It's
yeah. But
crazy.
it turns out everybody is.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's just everybody,
Yeah.
and that's the
So
standard.
yeah, there was a lot of brochure sites, is what I will call it, before like Web 2.0. And so it was a different time. When I graduated from with graphic design, it was just a different time. There was a lot of magazines, you know.
Mm, yeah.
I'd say I see some similarities to this AI revolution as like the whole computer and paper. Basically, people thought when the computer was invented, paper would disappear, right?
Right.
And instead, it created a lot more paper. Then you have your own personal printers and
Mm,
you just it expanded. Actually, like publications expanded. It wasn't until
Mm-hmm.
much later that they started to decrease because it's better online. You can have a better experience online. You have more
yeah.
interaction.
Yeah.
I can see that happening with AI as
Mm,
well. Like I think we're in this Wild West thing where it's going to expand quite a bit, and we don't know exactly what's going to happen as
mm.
it gets more narrowed in and we have more of an idea of what that is. Um, I think it's kind of exciting. We
So would
just
you
have never
recommend your
seen this
kid to
kind.
get into either of your kids to go into graphic design? Would you put it in one of the occupations that Asians should start to recommend for their kids?
Graphic design, I mean, I've heard Sam Altman talk about it a little bit. I'm not
Okay.
sure, like, I even recommended it when I was graduating from college. Like,
Yeah.
my parents questioned it.
Mm.
I did fairly well on SATs and they thought I was pretty good at like animating things. So they questioned why did I go into graphic design? And at that point, it was graphic design new media, which was anything related to the web.
Hmm.
They did
Okay.
question that,
Hmm.
even though
Yeah.
they were both graphic designers. But
Right.
they're
That's
so
Yeah.
wild.
encouraging of other kids going into to art and
But not their
design, and
own.
they're willing
Yeah.
to
Yeah, not
talk
their
to
own.
them about it. Well, they just questioned it. They didn't have any problem sending me to the private 4-year art college.
Okay.
I,
So they
I think they
questioned
Yeah.
it, but
weren't,
they didn't push back too
yeah,
hard. They were just like,
Yeah.
just think
That's
about
they,
fair
it kind of
enough.
thing.
I don't
Yeah.
think they ever really worried about me being able to make money.
Okay.
Like, I
Mm.
think they did
Cool.
press that. Like, I remember very distinctly, maybe freshman year in high school, they gave me a book called How to Retire Young and Rich.
Oh, wow. I like
I
that.
think I still have
Okay.
it on a bookshelf somewhere. I don't know
Nice.
that I would take the same advice from the book, but I did read it.
Oh, cool.
That's a very Asian thing to give for
Yeah.
kids.
How to retire
Yeah.
young and rich. There you go.
Mhm.
Hilarious. All right. Well, cool. Well, this has been a great conversation, Wayne. I think we got to move over to the next section of the Haru
All
quiz. Let's get
right.
that
Okay.
gong going.
Here we
All right,
go.
Tiffany. We are going to ask you a couple questions about your Asianness. These questions are, of course, tailored directly to you. So let's see. I got three questions for you. Let's see how we do.
Okay.
Putting you on the spot. All right. The first one should be pretty easy, I hope, since you are in the AI world. What is the name of the Chinese company that is the competitor to OpenAI?
DeepSeek? Or do you mean a
DeepSeek,
different
that
one?
is the
There's a lot.
one. There's okay,
Yeah.
that is the most
It's
famous
one
one.
every
That
day. I think
that is the most
Alibaba
famous
has
one.
theirs too.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Alibaba.
Yeah, they're all well, I think DeepSeek is open source, right? So a lot of those guys are reusing their LLMs and stuff.
But
Have you ever tried it?
OpenAI is not open source.
No, they're not. Did you know that's in
I
the
Yeah.
name?
have tried
Yeah. That's
DeepSeek.
in their name, huh? That is
Yeah, I did
funny.
try DeepSeek. So I
Yeah.
did a AI workshop over at Stanford recently, and I tried to use the different LLMs to help me make the workshop. And
Hmm.
DeepSeek was one of the ones that I used along
Do
with
you think it was
Anthropic
any
and,
better?
and
It's what
um
who's winning?
they have
Chinese
really
people or
different personalities, right?
Oh,
All of these
okay.
LLMs kind of, I know it's maybe a weird thing to say, but all of these LLMs, they do kind of have their own personalities. And
Yeah,
every generation has a different one. Like
right.
right now, I'm forced to use O4 Mini or O4 Mini High instead of the O3 Mini High on ChatGPT. It's
Hmm.
very sycophantish. So basically, it doesn't give me the answer that I want, but it's very apologetic.
But yeah, wants to support
That's,
you, I guess.
yeah.
Yes.
Interesting. All right, nice, nice. So you know your Chinese AI. Excellent. Yeah, the folks in China are doing some special stuff. I feel like maybe they're going to be turning into the Borgs. I feel like they have
Yeah.
a lot of technology going on out there. Okay, all right. So this one may be a little bit harder, and I don't know, Wayne, if you're going to know this. Okay.
Probably
So
not. More acronyms. More acronyms.
with your one hand, so in Chinese, people like to count with one hand.
Mm.
What number does this represent when you put your hand to a fist and then the thumb comes out and the pinky comes out, which looks like a shaka in
Yeah.
Hawaii?
Hawaiian
I'm
What
gonna
shaka.
say
number does that
7.
represent? Almost.
Almost?
Wow.
No?
What is it?
Aw,
See,
It's
I don't have a
six.
clue.
It's
that's
six.
6?
You guys don't
Yeah.
count in Chinese?
That's six.
No, I
I
Maybe that
don't
don't,
was
count in
only
Chinese. I mean, I
maybe it
can
was only my
count in
family.
Chinese. I don't count with my
but
fingers in
I don't
Chinese.
count on my fingers. I mean,
What do you
what? You
do if you
just
only have one
calculate.
hand and you need to go above five?
I used my voice.
Yeah, that's right. I use
Nice. Smart.
yeah, vibe coding to I just
You
ask.
asked ChatGPT.
Yeah, how many fingers am I holding up?
How many R's
Uh,
are in strawberry?
Yeah.
awesome. So, okay, all right. Last question is an open-ended question, actually. If you could choose any Asian person to simulate in an AI to talk to, who would it be? It's got to
An
be Asian.
Asian, it has to be Asian,
Yeah,
no
I guess
Well, only
so.
specific
because we're all
Asian.
Asian.
Yeah, I guess so. But yeah.
Like dead or alive, or
Yeah,
is
either
there?
one. It's an AI simulation of
or
anybody
both.
dead or alive. Or
Or a Borg, an Asian Borg.
I think it would be interesting to talk to, I don't know if, I wish I knew the name of the person that I'm thinking about, but she was the first prostitute in San Francisco. She
There you
came over. She was
go.
very.
that's what you would do?
I think it'd be
Yeah.
interesting. I think like she was
Whoa.
That
featured
would
in
be interesting.
that Bruce Lee remake. That what is that thing called? It's not Brother's Son, is
Well,
it?
it probably has the word dragon in it.
Brother's
Yeah, I
Son
mean
is, I
it's
don't think that was
recent. It's on
related to
Brother's son,
Netflix.
yeah. That
Is
was
that the
Netflix.
one?
Okay. I don't think so. That
Yeah.
wasn't related to Bruce Lee. So there must have been another one. But so
There was
there
one
was some
where it's
pro
this kung fu guy that comes over on a boat to San Francisco Chinatown, and there's a lot
a
That's
of
warrior.
violence.
Warrior.
Warrior,
Warrior.
yeah, that's it.
Yeah, yeah.
That
The
Shannon Lee did
yeah.
that. Yeah.
the lady
Yeah.
that goes to Napa and like that was a based off
Oh,
of a real person.
that was
That
based on a real
person
Oh,
would be
person.
interesting
Oh,
to talk to. Like if you look
heck
at their
yeah.
history, I got
Yeah.
real into this history and I watched some YouTube videos of she originally had a husband that she was coming over with, but they killed the husband so that she could do the captain of the boat. And
Oh my
then she
gosh.
started her own little peekaboo house in San Francisco because there wasn't a lot of options for women back
wow.
then.
Yeah.
But she's very entrepreneurial,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and
In that show, she was a badass.
yeah,
Like,
she was
Yeah.
badass.
She
Yeah.
kind of ran the show. Is that
yeah.
was that for real? Like the real person did that
Well,
as
I
well?
don't think
She
she was like violent or did
yeah.
all of those things, but I think I mean, there is a real history there. So
She
it'd
found
be
her way.
interesting
Yeah.
to hear. Like, I always think that, oh, you know, and when I face these microaggressions or some amounts of racism, I think back, well, that person probably faced a lot more.
Or like
Yeah.
your grandfather and things just trying to buy a
Yeah.
house here. Holy
Right.
crap. I thought I faced some, but like when I hear, like you just said, like ours are micro compared to
Yeah.
Yeah.
some of the
Well, I
Wow,
heard
that's really
even like
interesting.
San Carlos, they only 2017 is when they took out the red line anti-Asian clause
What?
in some of their
in
like
San
yeah, like
Carlos,
in
I'm
San
in
For
Carlos.
real
I'm in
estate?
I'm in San
Yeah.
Mateo
Whoa.
right now, and I
Yeah,
bought
San
my house.
Mateo was still okay, and so was like Millbrae was always friendly to Asians.
So wait, the
Hilarious.
redlining stuff is like real estate where you can't where like Asians can't buy in certain areas. Is that what
Hmm.
redlining is?
Yeah, and black.
Wow, and
Yeah.
that was just recently? That's pretty
Well, I
crazy.
mean, they haven't like
Maybe they
used
weren't
it for a long
enforcing
time.
it,
Mm.
They
right?
weren't enforcing
Enforcing it.
it,
They were in
obviously,
there.
Yeah,
but the
but it was
byline
in
was
there.
still in there till
Oh, wow.
2017, which is crazy to me.
That's crazy. Yeah.
Wow,
Yeah.
wow. Well, interesting. That definitely was not what I thought you would have said. Like
No,
with
well,
the prostitute,
I didn't think
that's
about it
I thought you
before
said
this,
like
right?
Michelle Yeoh or something like that, but you actually went
Yeah.
back to
Well,
history.
I don't
That's
need AI
crazy.
for that. she's alive. So
You
I
could give
feel
her a
like,
call.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
reach out
totally.
to her on the slide into her DMs.
Slide into her
Yeah,
DMs.
that's
Yeah.
right. Could do that.
That's
Yeah.
awesome. Well, Wayne and I know exactly who we would pick, and we have the same answer. It's got to be Bruce Lee,
Yeah.
right? That's
Yeah,
the guy
Bruce
we would
Lee.
chat
Oh,
with.
that's a good one.
Yeah.
I would totally want to talk to
I
Bruce
would
Lee
love
too.
to talk to him, but he might not be as fun as like Jimmy O Yang would be fun, probably. Bruce
But
Lee,
he's
He would be
alive
fun, but
too.
he's alive too.
yeah.
We'll just
Yeah.
have him as a guest and we'll talk
You
to
Yeah,
him.
should.
that's
You
good enough.
should.
That's good enough.
But yeah,
All right,
Bruce.
awesome. Well, so okay, so Tiffany, so let's wrap up this podcast with a
Okay.
your life tip for people out there.
You didn't ask me about the White Castle.
The White
Oh,
Castle.
I
There's a
didn't ask you about
surprise
that's
in
right.
there.
That's right. I just kind
Some
of
kind of
slipped all through
hidden
that because
a hidden
you were
gem.
going to show it to us. All right, so now I got to ask though, what is your White Castle, Tiffany?
So
Yeah.
my White Castle has to do with, oopsies, let's see. It's roller
Skating,
skating.
roller
A roller
skating.
skate.
Roller
Okay, a pro
skating.
Yeah.
roller skate.
And
Okay.
specifically, I mean, these are not the ones that I take to the skate parks, but going to a skate park, at least in the last 5 years, that has been my White Castle, is going and dropping into giant bowls and
Really?
learning how to do
Bulls.
that.
That's dangerous.
So
It's
you're like, are
very
you doing flips and
dangerous.
stuff? Like
Not
there's
yet.
concrete.
You're really good then. You go into the
Not yet. I'll
skateboard
I'll send
parks.
you my Instagram, or it's Skater Tiff, like the 90s, SK8
Yeah.
ER Tiff.
Like the
I was
90s.
picturing something safer, like how they have on the beach board sidewalks and people are just cruising with the music but doing it at a skateboard park, that's a whole nother level. You're
Oh,
Yeah.
dropping
you've
into
got to be the oldest person there, though, right?
I am not. Well, I mean,
Really?
in general, I try to go when there's no one there. So I'm definitely the oldest
so
and
like
the
the only
youngest.
one, yeah, the
Yeah.
only one there.
But I am going to skate camp next week. It's an adult skate camp where there are lots of people older
What?
than me that
That's
are
amazing.
way better even. They do this thing where they side surf. So it's like you spread
Nice.
eagle on your skating, because that's, I guess, how they did it in the 80s.
Oh,
Whoa.
Yeah.
That's hilarious. So now when you fall on your butt, you don't feel like that hurts like a lot more than when you were
I
younger?
know.
Well, you
Because
try not to, but I only started this hobby in 2020, and that was when there was no other option, right?
Yeah.
Everybody's
yeah,
stuck at home. It's the only thing.
pandemic.
I even had like mask on outside in the skate park, um,
Oh,
learning how
right.
to do
Yeah.
all of this stuff. And it was such a nice space to decompress, de-stress.
Mm.
I had two very young children at that point, and
Yeah.
you go a little stir crazy. So skate parks were all over the Bay Area, and I would go and escape and learn how to do tricks. It was very thrilling to
That
jump
is.
into these things.
That's the
Yeah.
best White Castle so far that we have.
That's
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 awesome.
pretty amazing. That is totally back to the 90s. So you can go and listen to more like Blink-182 and like some
Oh yeah.
41 and get all
Make
into it.
reels. Yeah.
Make reels,
Yeah.
yeah. That's so
Oh, that's
perfect.
that's a super cool White Castle. Okay, cool. So that's a great White Castle. What about life tip? Any good tips for the audience?
So kind of related, I would say everyone should try new things. Get out of your
Mhm.
comfort zone and try. Like
Yeah.
if you haven't tried the vibe coding, just try to make an app. I mean, anything.
Hmm.
Anything new, it taking you out of your comfort zone does so much for how you see the world. And so that's my tip.
Yeah,
That
I
is
love it. It's
true.
it's not just trying something new. It's trying something new that's outside of your comfort zone. Like, I mean,
Hmm.
the roller skating
Like
thing
roller
is
skating, like
dropping in is
out of the
I haven't
blue. I
said the
mean,
words dropping in for like 30 years now.
right. I mean, snowboarding now even
Well,
hurts when I fall on that, and that's on
Yeah.
snow. So
well, you
roller
think
skating.
about it. I started when I was over 40, so that's like rough.
That's
It's
That's
not, but
incredible.
um,
Yeah.
how it happened, I think my son wanted to do inline skating,
Okay.
and I knew how to inline skate, but he started to say things like, "Oh, I'm too old to do this. It hurts when I fall." So I'm like, "Oh, well, I'll learn roller skating with you. I'll show you
nice.
you're not too old."
Oh, that's
Yeah.
how it started. That's
And he
I
was
cool.
love
like
it.
5.
Oh,
Right.
wow. Wow. Yeah. Yeah. These aren't even inline skates. These are actual roller skates.
Quads.
Like,
Yep.
like,
Yeah. So
Yeah.
that's
So
a generation
this is
earlier.
me in
Like,
San
oh,
Francisco.
that's
whoa,
Like
that's
I'm
you.
that's
showing a picture of
fast.
Potrero
That's a
Hill.
Wait,
video of
Yeah, that's
you
me. And
rolling in
the
the bowl. That's
best
great.
part is
holy
my
cow.
parents were the ones that took that video. They
Your
came with
parents.
me to the
Yeah.
skate park,
Now,
and
now,
like
did they lace up and get in there? That would be amazing.
so funny or sad story. I did have them come with me once to the skate park in Southern California. They inline skate still.
Oh,
They're quite
wow.
fun. They're
Oh,
75-ish.
holy
They're
cow.
quite
And they're
old.
inline skating.
So
Incredible.
but they still skate in roller skating rinks and stuff in Southern
Yeah,
California.
that's much
But I
That's
brought
great.
safer in the
but I
rink.
brought them to the skate park, and my dad really gave it a go, but he fell on his
Wow.
head. So he was
Ooh,
wearing a helmet. So thank
good.
goodness he was wearing a
Thank
helmet, but
God.
I will never make them do that.
Yeah. I would
Yeah.
not.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
you're barely like the age to do it.
Yeah.
You
Yeah,
know,
exactly.
that's insane.
Exactly. And then
Thank you.
Good for
yeah.
you.
And then your
Good for
grandfather, he's
you.
next. I don't
No, he
know.
passed
Yeah,
away quite a
Oh,
long time
okay.
ago, but
Okay.
yeah. Yeah.
That's too cool. Wow. Well, congratulations. That is like one of the coolest White Castles that we've heard of. I mean,
Love
people
it.
like out there and
So
doing stuff
true.
like that. That's great. But thanks so much, Tiffany, for being on the show. Really a pleasure to chat with you.
This
Yeah.
was fun. Thank
Thanks,
you.
Tiffany.
We are sponsored by none other than the Coder School, a company that teaches kids how to code with over 70 locations all around the country. So if you're interested in getting your kids to code, head online and check us out. Learn to code, change the world. Thanks for listening.